I've also just been disappointed by how bad the podcast views are to start. Like the podcast with the 4 episodes that are up that have been up for over a month now, they don't even have 400 views. 100 views per show average? Oh, no. Somehow, someway, yesterday's work, we got no donations, and we lost 30 more people on the Patreon. I don't know how 30 people fell off yesterday. I mean, that's a testament to how pathetic the world is right now. 3,000 people support my Patreon. 3,000. That's it. That is pathetic. And then you have the troll network putting out new content, trying to make us look bad in the March Madness tournament, which is just a joke. Again, this is what happens when you listen to trolls and politicians and people who chop up videos and mislead. And again, have to put out a new bogus video about March Madness, which is false.
Welcome back, Truthseeker.
And that's why I have so many trolls. Like, I think I got more trolls than anybody on the internet. I mean, I have 2 dedicated channels that put out highly polished videos every day, like pro video editors trying to make me look bad. Again, there's people who do not want me doing what I do. Sounds like a mental illness.
I wanted to mention that, you know, I'm all up for free speech, but when people come here disingenuous and every single word, that every single comment they make is just an attack, they're not coming here on any, you know, honor or respect. So they don't need to be heard, and I will delete them. It's
Pussy.
I don't need that energy, and neither does any of the other people that are here.
Trust me, don't even address or acknowledge it, because the trolls are like, they're jerking off right now. They love it. Jesse, I have had trolls 24/7, 365 since 2015, every day harassing me. I recently just took my first sponsor, and they had to cancel me as a sponsor 2 days later because the troll network just took over all their social media, wouldn't stop bombing them, and they said, we're sorry, Zach, we didn't realize that you had haters like this. Like, they're just ruining our stuff. So are you okay if we back out of this? I said, I totally get it, man. It wasn't a big deal. I was trying to help out a smaller business.
Sure, Jan.
Is that Zachary in the clips?
Yeah, that's Zachary K. Hubbard. Is that the representative for your company?
Well, like I said, we just got the email. We're going to be looking into it, and obviously, if it all checks out, that's not something that we're going to be associated with. So we appreciate you reaching out.
No, I have a serious network of haters.
Did you ever wonder why?
And Donut's also a you-know-who, in light of what your other, again, you know.
Ironic.
My father does not know who his father is. And at one point he heard his father might be named Greenblatt, which is a Jewish last name. So it might actually be a Greenblatt. And by the way, like, I look at people in your chat too, like this flat bronze power, big flat earth, a flat earth tard, mind you. Just writing false shit after false shit through the whole thing. He thinks the earth's flat, and he sits here and lies about me out there in the chat. All Zach's sports picks are wrong. Hey, fucking moron. Every day, almost every single fucking day, we have way more winners than losers. Why don't you look at yesterday's picks and see the long list of right and the small list of wrong, and how many major upsets we hit again, like we do day after day.
I'm good at lying.
But you're going to sit there and write bullshit in the chat, which is a total lie.
Is it though?
All the trolls just fade away from your existence because there's a lot of people
They won't. And people should ask that too. Why is Zach the most trolled person on the internet? Because that's also true.
No, that's not trolls and haters. That's the people who are giving you the facts, and you don't like hearing it.
Why is there a network of trolls that harass me 24/7, 365? Why do they live on my Patreon and won't go away? They do so much to disrupt. You know, I took on the first sponsor. Within 48 hours, they had to shut it down because an overwhelming network of trolls overran all their social media sites. Again, you guys, ask why nobody else has trolls like that. People who are a million times more famous than me don't have trolls like I do.
Bullshit.
And we'll see, like, no comments about anyone like, damn, Zach, you called it again. Great work. We'll see a bunch of troll comments like, oh, after the fact, Zach. Because that's what the big tech does. Big tech has ruined this channel.
Actually, you did that.
You guys, and this is the problem too. I'm just going to put this trolls comment up here to close this out. There is way too much just like negative harassment.
Oh, poor baby.
But I do ask that people who can afford to support the work do, because if we had actually greater support, we could do something a lot bigger. You know, funds were starting to grow, so we traveled all across the nation, had a huge impact. You know, just nothing but BS. But then the funding got cut in half, and it already wasn't that great as soon as that happened. And, you know, nothing's come back since. And again, his whole goal is to get people to not support me. The reason I say this needs resources is so that we can hire a team of people, have a permanent location, travel together. I mean, to me, that's a joke right there. That's a joke. I don't even want to hear that. It's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. I'll tell you what, though, if this per month thing gets up to something like $10,000 a month, I'll hire a couple people. You know, then I can afford to have some employees. I'll hire Jonathan, you know. Right now, there's 10,787 coming in a month. That's more than I need for myself. That's why I'm paying $1,000 a month for a website. That's why I'm saving the rest of the money for a future cause, like getting a building and renovating it and being able to have the resources to put in the furniture that we can have to set up a, geometry effect news studio. This money is for the cause. If this money goes up to $30,000, I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen overnight. We're going to have the building. We're going to have people hired. It's going to make a huge difference. We can do a lot with $30,000 a month, but I am saying we hit $30,000, things will happen. Things will happen, and they'll happen fast, and you'll see it. I'm transparent. Again, it's not a crime if you don't get caught. How many of these guys worth 10, 20, 30 million in the Bay Area have been sitting back watching my work getting older and older and older and maybe got inconvenienced by the bridge collapse, and it could get a lot worse?
Here comes the best part.
People like that might realize one day, like, oh, I should have helped out that Zachary K. Hubbard. I see what he was saying. Because what did his 10 million do rotting in the bank? He could have donated to us.
Imagine all that money had come to me. Me.
We could have created geometry effect news across the nation. Really, this is what should be happening right now. See, that's like, oh, they try to make it seem like, oh, he's one of those Jew haters. When a lot of the times I've been sticking up for Jews.
For obvious reasons.
And how they get way too much blame. And again, I feel the weight of Jews being blamed because, again, my dad doesn't know who his dad is. It's highly likely his dad was of some kind of Jewish ancestry, because it is true that I do look a bit Jewish.
A bit.
Who look more like a fucking Jew than him?
But I'm definitely not Jewish, and I can physically prove that by just dropping my shorts, because you got to get cut if you're a Jew. And if you can follow the logic of what I'm saying, I have physical proof that I am not. Again, I was raised Lutheran. My dad doesn't know who his dad is. But just because I look Jewish, I get attacked all day online, which has been going on for 10 years for being a Jew, which shows that there's just way too much blame on Jews, even making people into Jews who aren't Jews. My father does not know who his father is. And at one point, he heard his father might be named Greenblatt, which is a Jewish last name. So I might actually be a Greenblatt. Yeah, I got to get back on the podcast thing, too. I just been frustrated with the podcast thing because I've been trying to troubleshoot and keep up the one name that we started, but it seems like it won't syndicate under that name. And I've also just been disappointed by how bad the podcast views are to start. I got to be more persistent and stick with it, but based on how few views it's gotten, like the podcast with the 4 episodes that are up that have been up for over a month now, they don't even have 400 views. So I'm like, well, that's not going to change anything. 400 views, 100 views per show average. Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Somehow, some way, yesterday's work, we got no donations and we lost 30 more people on the Patreon. It's like, man, you think the work would be good? You think the movement would always be building? I don't know how 30 people fell off yesterday. Are you a fucking retard? Let me ask you that. Are you a fucking retard? He is winning a lot of support from people who used to be great members of this community. And that goes to show you the power of video editing skills. He's very good at making videos. They're literally, I shouldn't have to make the point. It should already be happening. There should be 1 million people at least signed up on my Patreon.
Imagine all that money had come to me. Me.
They'd be benefiting, getting some extra grocery money. We'd have geometry effect news established in every major city. We'd be changing the world. But instead, we got 3,000 people on Patreon because the rest of the world is just that inept. And those are also facts. I mean, that's a testament to how pathetic the world is right now. 3,000 people support my Patreon. 3,000. That's it. Fucking ungrateful loser. For what we've proven in the last 10 years, that is pathetic. That's pathetic. That is pathetic.
Stop crying, you bitch!
And again, I hope one day we can achieve it, but it's just so hard because there's so many just like snakes in the grass and people trying to sabotage things. But I really wish we could put together a true community, just like a town or You know how people live in subdivisions? We kind of live like could be a trailer park subdivision with a lot of land. I mean, that's trailer park. But we have a place to live next to each other and know our neighbors and grow food together and have conversations together and look out for each other. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, I hopefully in the not too distant future, I figure out a way that we can actually put a trust together and create a plan and say like, hey, the first 100 people to pledge 10,000, we have $1 million as a community. It's a community pool of money. We make the agreements and decisions together. It's not like one person has sway over everybody else's money, but we figure out a way to put our resources together. Now you have a place where you got food, you got shelter, and you don't really have to, money's not really a thing you have to worry about anymore. The only thing you have to worry about is maintaining your shelter and your food supplies. So to me, that would just be a dream, you know, to have a great community of people, you know, have great conversations, play games, you know, have fun. Let's do it. Let's achieve it. Let's figure out a way to achieve it. I'm going to start looking into a trust. I'm going to be doing more research on the right spot. Some people are just full of shit at the end of the day. And I want you guys to realize that the way my troll network works, since March Madness concluded, and it was a lucrative March Madness for us, once again, we killed the opening round, and a lot of people multiplied their money times 10, times 15, times 20, times 80s. Just so many big upsets year after year we nail in the opening round of March Madness. It's easily the best round for the knowledge. But anyway, did fine with March Madness. Plenty of room for improvement.
That's an understatement.
So the point I'm making is, just since March Madness ended, which we did fine in, we've dominated 2 more big things and had a lot of great days in sports. And then you have the troll network putting out new content, trying to make us look bad in the March Madness tournament, which is just a joke.
Is it though?
And the stuff we point out is awesome too. Like how James Madison upsets Madison, Wisconsin in the opening round in the 85th tournament when James Madison died at age 85. You just see how all this stuff's so scripted.
Yeah, this is all after the fact though, right?
Again, this is what happens when you listen to trolls and politicians and people who chop up videos and mislead. And again, have to put out a new bogus video about March Madness, which is false. Dick-sucking, lying, kike faggot. I'll be helping out Amy more. I'm talking to Sweet Lady about how much we can afford right now. We have a financial crisis of our own because of some dishonest people.
Flashback.
I'm having a financial nightmare in my own personal life, and it's because Sweet Lady and I did a decision, and the people that we did the decision with weren't honest with us, and there was a ticking time bomb in the deal that they didn't tell us about. And it started off as a small nightmare, and then it got to a bigger nightmare, and it's grown into this crazy nightmare. And he recently went to just go talk to an accountant, and an accountant just gave him a tip about somebody in town selling a business at a super discounted rate. And we went and talked to the man, and it turned out it's a father-son business from Portland. Like my dad and I are from Portland, and they're out here too, but they want to leave, and they're practically giving away this business for free. And so my dad, who's retired but bored, he's like, let's do this. And I said, all right, we'll go in on it together. There's a huge relationship with 3 and 56. And again, you know, go back to Super Bowl 56, the spread was 3.5. So we thought the smart way to play that game was Bengals to cover, because we liked them to possibly win, but worst case scenario, lose by 3, which is exactly what they did.
You see, this is why this guy's a fraud. You see, everybody in this entire world knows he had the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. And this is what he does. It's really hard for him to admit that he's wrong. This is what I'm saying. This guy's a liar. If you have a brain and you're not one of his cocksuckers, you'll see through it.
Yeah, and Amy's been getting harassed and targeted by the troll gang too. So, and really, I would encourage everybody to just, the troll gang's not going to go away, and they do live for the attention. I really do think everybody should just act like they don't exist. They might actually stop.
I doubt it.
Did you see that new video that I made?
I don't think so.
Google did that thing that they I worked like a couple of months on it because I thought it was funny. And Google decided to I premiered it, and it got a bunch of views, and then Google took away all the views.
Yeah, it might be obvious mental illness. Very well could be.
And then now it's just not getting any views. So I feel kind of bad since I worked like a month on it.
Imagine working on a video for a month or two and getting less than 400 views on the video laughing my fucking ass off.
You need to retire and you need to shut it down.
And, you know, they like took away all the views from it.
Sorry, that's someone that's, you know, not right in the head. Like I said, Sweet Lady and I have been dealing with this financial problem because we tried to do something that we thought was a long-term plan to get ahead, but somebody hid something very serious from us and they didn't disclose it. It's opened up this can of worms in this nightmare. They reap what they sow. Come and join us. See if we can have another big winning year at the Derby. Yeah, we have been on a little bit of a drought. We haven't won since Medina Spirit. But the one year that we get it wrong, ooh, Zachary K. Hubbard's Kentucky Derby disaster. It wasn't that long ago, but we are on our longest drought, and we're trying to end that this year.
Does that sound like something you want?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, you'll never get it.
Again, we've had a lot of luck with the horse races over the years, but we're on a little bit of a drought. We haven't hit it since Medina Spirit. Anyhow, this being the 150th Kentucky Derby, and it being on May 4th, 5-4. Again, I see a connection in the numbers 150 and 54, so I'm looking at the race through the lens that I see in this. Again, there's a relationship with the sun, which has gematria 54, and it being 150 million kilometers away on average. And again, the model that says the sun's at the center of it all, heliocentrism, has that gematria of 150. And when I ran through the horses, the jockeys, the trainers, I noticed only one had a 150 connection, and it was the Japanese horse TO Password. And then that reminded me that the Emperor of Japan is born on the 54th day of the year. And with regards to Japan, it is the house of the rising sun. Their flag is the sun. So Japan has two horses in the race. A Japanese horse has never won the Kentucky Derby. But if there was a year for a Japanese horse to break through, this year could make sense. So the Japanese horses are an interesting narrative, which we'll get more into deeper into detail. Just with regards to the whole sun thing, the son of Brad Asmussen, or is it, hold on, Steve Asmussen, the trainer who's won all these events in horse racing but never won the Kentucky Derby. This year, his son is a rookie jockey in his first ever Kentucky Derby. So the father-son narrative is interesting, as we'll touch more on. So let me scroll down to the bottom of this. At the very bottom, I wrote out some concluding thoughts. But this Catching Freedom, it's up there as one of the favorite horses. And it's considered a horse that if it matures in the way it has in its last races, it could easily win this race. But this Catching Freedom horse, it's got a narrative, and then the numbers thing. The numbers thing on this horse is interesting. Again, the Jesuits running the whole show. Their motto is Jesus Hominum Salvator, which equates to 274, and it's inside the logo, which is the sun, and the Catholic Church has celebrated the sun's birthday on 12/25, December 25th, since 274 AD. This horse, Catching Freedom, has the gematria of 274, and the jockey, Flavian Pratt, it's 274 days after his birthday. The 274 thing is interesting because it definitely pertains to the sun. It seems like the sun could be a big theme. This Catching Freedom, definitely an interesting narrative. The father-son narrative, I also find that one really intriguing. Could it be the father? Could it be the son? Again, Steve Asmussen's never won the Kentucky Derby. His son is a jockey for the first time. Steve Asmussen is 58 years old. Speaking of Super Bowl 58, right? Sometimes we see big, wide themes in the world of sports. In the year of Super Bowl 58, could Steve Asmussen get his first Kentucky Derby win at age 58? The word father equates to 58. Father and son. His son's a jockey, and his son is on the horse Just Steel, which equals 58. So his son's on the horse that equals 58. Father equals 58. He's trying to win for the first time at 58. This race is on the 140th day of the Pope's age. The name of Steve Asmussen's horse, Track Phantom, equates to 140. They refer to the Pope as the father. People will call Catholic priest fathers. Churchill Downs. So yeah, the Steve Asmussen father and son. Wouldn't it be something, for example, if they both finished in the top 3 together? So very interesting narrative with Steve Asmussen's Track Phantom and his son, Keith Asmussen, riding on the horse Just Still. The Japanese horses, again, just the Emperor of Japan, born on the 54th day of the year. The other Japanese horse, remember we talked about TO Password, which equals 150, like the 150th Kentucky Derby. The other Japanese horse is Forever Young, which is one of the top 5 horses in terms of odds as of right now. Odds can totally get shifted tomorrow, the day of the race, but as of right now, Forever Young is 10-1. And it's in post 11. Post 11 is interesting because the sun has an 11-year solar cycle. Forever Young in gematria equates to 72 and 54, just like how the Emperor of Japan, 72nd day of his age is the race, birthday's the 54th day of the year. Numbers that go with the sun. And again, TO Password with the 150 connection is 30-1, so it's considered a lot less likely to win the race. It could be like some kind of paired thing, like the sign of these 2 Japanese horses in this race is, again, just having all these sun numbers. It might make it Japan's first ever year. So how about shut the fuck up, morons? I'm not wrong about anything.
You win some, you lose some, but we win a lot more than we lose.
And you can consistently win, as we've proven in this community with a lot of us doing it for several years now, a lot of years, almost pretty much a decade. And then he's always doing his false math for how much money you would have lost, which is total BS. Congrats to the winners.
Yeah, we hit the bookie nice.
Like, man, I lost $1,000. This picture was shit that day.
You know, like, if you can't win with this knowledge, there's something seriously wrong with you.
Just shows that there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you.
Welcome back, Truthseeker. Coincidence theorist tweaker. Sweet lady needs a new purse, but you gotta give me my money first. We're turning letters into numbers. Grats to the winners. Grats to the winners.
Till next time, Truthseeker.